We are often encouraged to be generous, share, and act virtuously. However, generosity should not come at the cost of unthinkingly sacrificing yourself. Have you ever felt you're burning yourself out to keep others warm? Join me as we explore a fresh perspective through the lens of Stoicism, an ancient yet powerful philosophy that teaches us how to live rationally and maintain balance. This article will reveal why self-sacrifice is not only a mistake. Still, it can also weaken you, and how we can learn to set healthy boundaries in relationships, uphold virtue, and live a meaningful life. Prepare for a journey through 7 scenarios where excessive kindness can harm you, and how Stoicism can help you protect yourself while maintaining necessary generosity. You'll discover practical strategies to avoid being taken advantage of and find balance in your generosity. Welcome to a journey of building resilience and self-respect through Stoic philosophy. Stoicism and Self-Respect. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, encourages us to live by reason and virtue, regardless of circumstances. One of the critical lessons from Stoicism is setting boundaries for ourselves and not sacrificing excessively for others, a challenge many of us face in daily life. To illustrate this, consider the story of the horse and the donkey. The horse works tirelessly under the scorching sun daily, feeling exhausted and in pain. Meanwhile, the donkey enjoys a leisurely day without the same pressure and hard work. Out of kindness and empathy, the donkey advises the horse to feign illness to get some rest. As a result, the donkey carries the heavy workload all day, leaving it utterly exhausted. This sacrifice benefits no one in the long run. This story offers a profound lesson from Stoicism. Helping others is a virtue, but not at the expense of our health and balance. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "When you are about to embark on some action, remind yourself what kind of action it is." This means that before we decide to help someone, we need to consider the consequences for ourselves. Stoicism teaches us that living according to reason and virtue is not unquestioningly helping others. Setting limits on our generosity is not selfish. It protects us from being exploited and worn out. Practicing self-respect and self-care not only helps us maintain mental and physical health, but also enables us to assist others more effectively. Maintaining healthy boundaries in relationships is crucial. We must learn to say no when necessary and understand that our sacrifices may not always be appreciated or reciprocated. Stoicism encourages us to live a balanced life, where generosity is guided by reason and self-respect. Response and expectations. One of the critical lessons of Stoicism is learning to manage our expectations regarding reciprocation from others. When we are generous and help others, we often expect to receive similar treatment in return. However, as Stoic philosophy points out, reciprocation doesn't always happen, and having high expectations can lead to disappointment and frustration. Imagine helping a colleague with a major project. You spend countless hours, even sacrificing personal time, to ensure the project's success. You believe that your dedication will be recognized and reciprocated. However, when the project is completed, your colleague takes all the credit and doesn't acknowledge your contribution. The sense of betrayal and disappointment can be profound, making you feel your generosity has been exploited. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others' actions, only our reactions. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "There are 2 rules we must always have ready, that there is nothing good or bad outside my own reasoned choice, and that we should not try to lead events, but follow them." This means we should focus on our actions without placing too much expectation on reciprocation from others. Instead of expecting equivalent reciprocation, we should learn to give without expecting much in return. This protects us from disappointment and helps us develop self-control and inner peace. By focusing on what we can control, our actions and reactions, we maintain tranquility and stability in our minds, regardless of others' responses. Generosity and kindness remain essential virtues, but we must practice them wisely. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent, but ensuring our generosity does not become a burden. Stoicism reminds us that faithful giving doesn't always require reciprocation, and lowering our expectations helps us avoid negative emotions when those expectations are not met. Ultimately, remember that giving without expecting reciprocation is a way to maintain self-respect and inner strength. It helps us build a strong spirit, appreciate what we have, and not depend on external validation. Stoicism teaches us that true peace and happiness come from self-control and not placing our happiness in others' actions. Boundless requests. In everyday life, we often get caught up in an endless cycle of demands from others. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries and practicing moderation in our generosity to protect our balance and mental health. Consider a mother who is always devoted to caring for her children and family, taking on all responsibilities from small to large. Initially, her generosity and dedication are highly appreciated. However, over time, the demands from her family increase to the point where she no longer has time or energy to take care of herself. She becomes exhausted and feels that she is only valued for her role in serving others. Stoicism advises us to set clear boundaries to avoid falling into exhaustion. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said, "The task of a man is to stand straight, not be kept straight by others." This reminds us to stand firm and not let others' endless demands shake our stability. Practicing moderation and generosity protects ourselves and encourages others to develop independence. When we constantly take on others' responsibilities, we overwhelm ourselves and prevent them from learning how to face challenges on their own. For instance, if a boss always takes on all the work for their employees, the employees will never have the opportunity to learn and develop their skills. Another story illustrates a father who always does his children's homework. Initially, he thinks he is helping, but as a result, his children need to learn to do their homework and develop independent thinking. When the father stops intervening and sets boundaries, his children learn how to solve problems and mature. Stoicism teaches us that generosity must be coupled with wisdom and moderation. We need to know when to help and step back to allow others to grow independently. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's respecting both ourselves and others. Doing so protects our peace and health while encouraging others to grow and become self-reliant. When we practice moderation and set boundaries, we protect ourselves from exhaustion and create an environment that helps everyone around us develop independence and confidence. Stoicism encourages us to live a life of virtue and reason, where generosity is balanced by self-respect and an awareness of our limits. Generosity and genuine relationships. Stoicism guides us to live rationally and self-respectfully and emphasizes building genuine and balanced relationships. When we are excessively generous, we may create relationships based on benefits rather than sincerity, which harms us and weakens the quality of those relationships. Consider the case of John, who is always willing to help friends and colleagues. John believes that by giving a lot, he will be loved and appreciated by everyone. However, he notices that many people only come to him when they need something, and after receiving help, they disappear. John's generosity, instead of creating sustainable relationships, only attracts those who exploit his kindness. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "He who starts to be a friend because it pays will also cease because it pays." A relationship must be built on what we can provide rather than who we are to be sustainable. Stoicism encourages us to build relationships based on mutual understanding and respect, not temporary benefits. To avoid falling into the trap of excessive generosity, we need to reevaluate how we give. This doesn't mean stopping to help others. It means doing so consciously and within limits. When we set boundaries for generosity, we protect ourselves and create more genuine and balanced relationships. Another example could be a businesswoman named Lisa, who is always willing to lend money or provide financial support to friends in need. Although Lisa's intentions are good, she realizes that these friends only come to her when they need money, and when everything is stable, they no longer stay in touch. Lisa learned that giving without limits creates shallow and insincere relationships. Stoicism teaches that true generosity must be accompanied by self-respect and understanding. When we give without expecting anything in return, we must do so with the awareness that not everyone will appreciate and reciprocate as we wish. The key is to focus on the quality of the relationship rather than the quantity of generosity. Building relationships based on sincerity and not influenced by material benefits creates a strong support network and ensures our generosity truly matters. Stoicism reminds us that the value of a relationship lies in genuine connection and mutual respect, not in what we can materially provide for each other. By practicing balanced and thoughtful generosity, we help others more effectively and protect ourselves from unnecessary harm. This creates a solid foundation for genuine and sustainable relationships, helping us live a meaningful and fulfilling life according to Stoic principles. Your priorities pushed aside. Stoicism emphasizes living a virtuous life and focusing on personal development. However, when too focused on meeting others' needs, we can quickly pay attention to our priorities, leading to imbalance and even burnout. Consider Sarah, a hard-working employee who is always willing to stay late to help colleagues finish their work. Sarah feels that this makes her loved and respected at work. However, after a while, she realizes that her personal projects and career development goals must be included. She no longer has time to learn new skills, attend advanced courses, or spend time with family and friends. Sarah feels exhausted and burnt out, realizing that self-sacrifice does not yield positive results for her career or personal life. Stoicism teaches us that caring for our needs is not selfish but essential to maintaining balance and authenticity. A famous Stoic philosopher, Cicero, once said, "Few days are truly ours." This emphasizes the importance of dedicating time to ourselves, focusing on personal goals, and not letting external demands overshadow our priorities. We must learn to say no when necessary and recognize that not all requests are worth sacrificing our valuable time and energy. This means knowing how to set boundaries and prioritize the most critical tasks for our development and happiness. Another example is David, a devoted father who is always willing to drive his children everywhere, help them with every homework assignment, and participate in all their activities. While David's love and dedication are undeniable, he realizes he no longer has time to pursue personal interests, exercise, or rest properly. This imbalance makes David feel exhausted and even frustrated, reducing the quality of his relationship with his children and overall health. Stoicism encourages us to practice self-control and self-awareness. We must ask ourselves whether meeting every demand benefits us in the long run. By prioritizing our needs and goals, we take better care of ourselves and help others more effectively and sustainably. Setting healthy boundaries and maintaining a balance between helping others and taking care of ourselves is vital to living a meaningful and fulfilling life, according to Stoic philosophy. This allows us to maintain mental and physical health and creates opportunities for personal development and happiness. Stoicism reminds us that self-care is an essential act of self-respect and the foundation for building a virtuous and rational life. Perceived and treated as weak in life, lacking clear boundaries and being overly willing to help can sometimes result in not gaining respect from others, but being perceived as weak and quickly taken advantage of. Stoicism emphasizes that setting boundaries and practicing self-discipline are necessary to protect our self-respect and maintain resilience. Take Jenny, an office worker who is always willing to take on extra tasks and help colleagues in need. Gradually, she becomes the go-to person for help. Initially, Jenny feels happy because she is valued and needed. However, over time, she realizes that colleagues take her assistance for granted and no longer appreciate her help. Even worse, when Jenny refuses to help due to being overwhelmed, she is criticized and seen as uncooperative. Jenny's willingness to please has led to her being treated as weak, unable to say no. Cicero, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "What you think about yourself is much more important than what others think of you." This reminds us that setting boundaries protects us from exploitation and strengthens our self-respect and dignity. When we learn to refuse firmly and respectfully, we send a clear message that we value ourselves and will not allow others to overstep. Another example is Alex, a friend who is always willing to help everyone around him. When friends need to move, he is there to help. When someone needs advice or financial support, Alex is always ready. However, when Alex needs help, few are willing to reciprocate his generosity. His friends have become accustomed to receiving help without giving back, taking Alex's help for granted. This leaves Alex feeling exploited and unappreciated. Stoicism encourages us to develop strength and self-control to avoid being perceived as weak. When we set boundaries, we protect ourselves and change how others perceive and treat us. This does not mean we must become hard-hearted or cold, but we must know when and how to say no respectfully and assertively. Maintaining healthy boundaries ensures that our assistance is valued and we balance our lives. Stoicism teaches that respect comes from what we do for others and how we treat ourselves. When we value and protect ourselves, we create an environment where everyone understands and respects each other's boundaries. According to Stoic philosophy, setting boundaries and practicing self-discipline helps us maintain self-respect, avoid being taken advantage of, and build relationships based on mutual respect. This makes us feel stronger and more confident and creates balanced and meaningful life conditions. Strategies to avoid being taken advantage of. Setting boundaries is a simple process, but practice is necessary for you to be able to understand where to start. Here are some strategies based on Stoicism to help you avoid exploitation, maintain self-respect, and balance in life. First strategy, eliminate the fear of saying no. The fear of saying no often stems from childhood, when we learn that refusal can make others dislike us. However, as adults, we can make decisions and protect ourselves. Stoicism teaches us to reflect on our reactions and not let fear control our actions. Ask yourself, why am I afraid to say no? Understanding the root of this fear will help you overcome it and practice saying no when necessary. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Second strategy, pay attention to your emotions. Stoicism encourages us to be aware of our emotions. When you feel pressured or overwhelmed, reflect on these feelings. Don't hesitate to set boundaries if you think your generosity is being exploited. Your emotions are a crucial signal indicating when you need to protect yourself. Remember, feeling exhausted and taken advantage of is a clear sign that you need to adjust how you give. Third strategy, prioritize yourself. Putting yourself first is not selfish but necessary self-care. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of taking care of your mental and physical health. Dedicate time to yourself, develop new skills, exercise, and relax. When you prioritize yourself, you will have the energy and mood to help others effectively without feeling drained. Marcus Aurelius said, "Take care of yourself before taking care of others." Fourth strategy, identify those who exploit. Only some deserve your generosity. Identify those who frequently exploit your kindness without reciprocating. This doesn't mean you must cut off all ties, but set clear limits with such people. Stoicism advises us to live with moderation and wisdom, reassessing relationships and only investing in those who genuinely respect and appreciate our help. Seneca reminded us, kindness is a treasure, a benefit to be shared only when necessary. Fifth strategy, practice self-reflection and self-control. Stoicism teaches that self-reflection and emotional control are keys to maintaining self-mastery. Ask yourself, are my actions aligned with my values and goals? This helps you adjust your actions to fit your self-respect and personal goals, avoiding being caught up in unnecessary demands from others. In conclusion, by implementing these strategies, you can avoid being taken advantage of and maintain balance. Stoicism teaches us that protecting our self-respect and mental health is the foundation for living a virtuous and meaningful life. By setting boundaries and practicing self-control, you protect yourself and create a positive environment where your generosity is rightly appreciated. Conclusion. Through exploring Stoicism and its core principles, we have gained a deeper understanding of the importance of maintaining boundaries and practicing balanced generosity. From recognizing the necessity of not over-sacrificing yourself and controlling expectations of reciprocation to setting healthy boundaries to avoid exploitation, we see that Stoicism provides practical tools to live a rational and meaningful life. Helping others is a noble virtue, but it should not cause you to lose balance and self-respect. As illustrated by the story of the horse and the donkey, excessive sacrifice benefits no one in the long run. We must learn to say no respectfully, pay attention to our emotions, and always prioritize ourselves. Stoicism teaches us that genuine kindness is not about giving everything without thinking, but about giving thoughtfully and moderately. Self-control and self-reflection help us maintain balance in life, protect self-respect, and build genuine and sustainable relationships. So start today and set clear boundaries in your life. Focus on what you can control, adjust your generosity, and remember that self-care is not selfish but the foundation for helping others more effectively. Stoicism is not just a philosophy of life, but a practical guide to living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Act now. Begin by reevaluating your relationships and actions. Ask yourself, am I over-sacrificing? Do I need to set better boundaries? Use the lessons from Stoicism to build a balanced life where your generosity is rightly valued and you feel satisfied and firm from within.